Oh, yeah, I'll get that to you right then.
This is my first time doing a pre-bid meeting, so.
Okay.
Bear with me a little bit here. So, good morning. My name is Tina. I'm the senior buyer for the Chore Services and Enhanced Chore. It's the ITB-24-24836. This morning, we're going to have the representatives from the department discuss the bid itself, the specs, what they're asking on this bid, and what you can anticipate with this particular bid. Active participation will be the department representatives as well as me in person. Provisions have been made for interested potential bidders and any member of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting. The meeting will be publicly able to be viewed afterwards because we are recording it, so other people can view the meeting itself. You guys have all signed in on the sign-in sheet. We will do an introduction with everybody, as well as an introduction with the representatives. All right, after we do the discussion, it's open to questions. You can ask questions. The questions and answers will be publicly noticed too as well. If there's anything that we have to change in the bid, we will do an addendum at that time and it will get extended. So just if there's something that you guys bring up enough of a question on, you might have to go back in and change something, but we'll take care of that as well.
We're gonna have the actual solicitation available, so if we need to pull it up, it's
Okay.
ITB,
All right.
what was the number again?
24836.
We're scrolling. 26. That's so long, I'll have it there.
Again, my name is Tina Aramo. I'm the senior buyer in the procurement department. I'm the one that actually did the whole terms and conditions, put it together. Karen is she is the grants, programs, and service compliance coordinator. She is the one I worked with in getting this together. We also have Mark Belmonte, which is the project manager for Aging Services. They are both with Aging Services. And Izzy Segura, and he is the chief coordinator or chief buyer in the procurement office. He's kind of my boss in a way. One boss in a way. We can start with you guys. Just introduce yourselves, what company you're with.
Okay, sure, I'll start. My name is Mindy Bransell. I'm with Caregiver Services. I work at the corporate office in Miami, and Nicole.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Villanueva. I'm the director for CSI Caregiver Services for Clearwater and Tampa.
Hi, I'm Lynette. I'm with J&J Holdings and Services, part of the cleaning services. I'm here in town.
It's not Jason Akers, owner and operator of Clean Acres Commercial Cleaning. We also do residential cleaning. We're based out of Palmetto.
Perfect. We will get started on the PowerPoint.
All right. All right.
All right. You can do that. I just drive.
You driving? You want me to drive?
Okay, you want to drive?
Please,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So we did the welcome. Again, thank you for coming today. I'm Karen Edmonds with Aging Services, so I can get my head on straight so I can talk. I'm so sorry about that. I'm just going to cover real high level what Chore and enhanced Chore services are. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about what this type of work is. I just want to make sure that anyone that's interested in doing a bid, you understand exactly what Aging Services works with the Department of Elder Affairs in the state of Florida. And we provide services to seniors in Hillsborough County. To be eligible for our services, you have to be 60 or older, and you go through an assessment process and an eligibility process. That's all conducted by staff in our department, and we determine who services. A lot of times services for this particular service is an adult protective service case, which means that someone's called in for a senior that might be at risk of either self-harm, they're living in unsanitary conditions, someone's concerned about the well-being of the senior. So chore services is cleaning that's more than homemaking. So it's cleaning the client's area and sanitary. So that's their bathroom, bedroom, kitchen, living room. If someone else is living in the home, it's not cleaning their area. So it's not cleaning another area, maybe a child or another person that's living in the home. It's not working in that area. So it's confined to that client's area. And some examples of that is removing lots of excess trash. Maybe they just have bags and bags of trash, large amount of boxes, maybe magazines, unread mail. So we'll give you some pictures of what we consider chore services. So you're going to go in and try to remove as much as you can that will return the home to a safe and sanitary condition. Chore services is our first leg of services in this kind of area, and it's 8 hours. So you get 8 hours to go out and do as much as you can. In that 8 hours, we ask for an assessment and for you to submit a picture. We're also going to ask you to submit a scope request form. So a lot of times what we get in pictures is not really what's the full extent of what needs to be taken care of. So there'll be more hours that'll need to be requested, but we're going to ask you to submit the scope of request form so that the case managers can appropriately decide if we can spend more money towards that service. Sometimes it's more cost than benefit. Enhanced chore is the next level of service, and it's limited to the amount of hours that it takes to get the house to a livable condition. And it's not our kind of livable, it's livable in what they have available, their resources. So some examples of that is we often have a pest control problem, either rats, rodents, cockroaches, things like that, ants, stuff like that. The pest control will not be effective unless we remove all of that stuff out of the way that's going to keep us from getting to where the pests are hibernating or habitating, I should say. It could be moving around furniture. Maybe something got moved or pushed out of the way and it's impeding the senior, and it can be removing excess trash. So this requires you to do the assessment, send the pictures, do the scope of request form, and they're approved on a case-by-case basis. Here's some examples of that. So you can see that that senior is pretty much in harm's way because they wouldn't be able to get out of the house if there was an emergency or someone couldn't get into them. Also, we have biohazardous services in this area. It's going to be approved only for the most extreme cases. And it's only for the cases where the senior has no resources to be able to clean this house up. And they are at risk of being placed out of their home. So it can be removal of clothing that has been soiled or stained or just not taken care of over time, and it needs to be bagged up and something done with, either thrown away, cleaned up, whatever's going to happen. And it could be removing human or pet feces. So we just want to make sure you're aware of that. And it can be removing garbage that might be spoiled, like old medications, old food, something that can be a hazard to others besides just the senior. And so here is an example of getting into some pretty intensive things. This year, we're adding a new service, lawn services. So we want to be able to have the senior have a clean path in and out of their home. So it's not you going in and doing what you think of as normal lawn service. It's a matter of trimming grass, trees, getting things off where they can get in and out of their home safely. And the people that will receive this will be only those that cannot do it in any other way. And then during the growing season, we'll do weekly. So we said spring and summer. And during the off season, it would be twice a month, fall and winter. Okay? And it'll be limited to the number of hours as well. So we're using grant dollars and we're the payer of last resource. So we have to stretch it as thin as we can. And here's an example. So we just need that person to be able to get in and out of their home or emergency services to be able to get to that scene. For your bid submissions, please include your cost for doing these type of services. So you want to make sure that you include personal protective wear like gloves, shoe covers, if you wear clothing, zip up coveralls, face mask if you need them, disposable items like cleaning supplies, mops and brooms, because you probably won't want to use them from one house to the other. That might be something that can't be reused. For lawn mowing, gas, motor oil, and weed eater cord, those type of things. So make sure that when you price your bid, you price it by the job and what it would take for that. Is there any questions on that? I'm gonna drink water. Okay. So the only other thing that I didn't make a slide for is we have to make sure that you have an office within Hillsborough County. That is a grant requirement. That you are licensed with the state of Florida, okay? You have experience serving seniors who may or may not have some mental issues or physical issues, that you have some experience in that, and that you can respond to an emergency case within 24 hours. Because oftentimes, by the time we go through the process of getting the investigator out there and seeing what's happening, their situations are pretty dire. So we're trying to get services to them as quick as possible. You also need to make sure that you're licensed to handle any of those chemicals that you're handling. We do a lot of monitoring. We're monitored a lot, and in turn, we monitor our subcontractors a lot. And we have a very good record of making sure that our seniors are taken care of and that we're justifying where we're spending the grant dollars. So any questions? Oh, one other thing, level 2 background screens. Make sure your staff can do level 2 background screens. Everyone that goes into the home must have level 2 background screen. Questions? Yes, I do.
I know with the biohazard, is there going to be something separate for the removal of the red bags, or we're just responsible for?
Yeah, I think it's,
disposal?
yes. And the reason we decided on that is that's such a variable cost that we don't know if you're gonna need, and I don't know much about dumpsters, so it may sound foolish here, a 50-yard dumpster or a 250-yard dumpster. We don't know that, so we would rather you price it for that. So go on the average, like what would it take on average to get it? Okay. Any other questions? All right.
I just have one question.
Yes.
As far as like the job per day, like how many like jobs do you have per day? Like, so you have 8 hours per each job, I guess, right?
Well, we start out with the 8 hours and it kind of ebbs and flows. So a lot of these cases are the ones that are adult protective services cases. And they kind of come in I want to say waves is the best way to say it. So like around the holidays, when people go and check on their families, they'll get concerned and we'll get calls. Around the school, it's kind of quiet because everybody's sort of distracted and trying to get children back in school. So it kind of comes and goes in those waves. If we send out something, we'll get kind of a little bit of an uptick in the calls, but we're doing all the pre-screening and the assessments and items before you go in.
And also as far as the bidding, are you able to, it's got to be all in one, or can somebody just do cleaning? You have somebody else does lawn services out, I'm just the cleaning, stuff like that. I'm not sure if you got to break that down to.
Yes.
Gonna be pretty much what I'm gonna end up doing is I will look at all different possible ways of doing it. And whatever it's basically based on county's best interest. So if we see that, you know, there's certain people that can only do the lawn service, and then there are only certain people that can do the cleaning, we'll look at that. If there's people that can do all, we're also gonna look at that. If the person that can do all, it's beneficial for the person to be able to do all, than to just separate it. We're probably going to put it all into the person. Now, it's not just, you know, we're also looking at not just awarding to one company, we're looking possibly to award to a couple, because sometimes it can be a lot. And one company can't just do it all. So, you know, there will be possibly other companies involved too. So it's not just gonna be awarded to one. So don't expect that you're like, uh-oh, I got 10 houses to clean 8 hours a day in one day. So it's not, you know, they'll contact the companies that have been awarded and say, hey, we have this in this location, can you do this? And then they'll call another company, we've got this one in this location, can you go to that location? So it's not gonna be all on one company, so.
And Hillsborough is such a large county that if we have a couple of APS cases come in, it seems like it's always luck of the draw. There's one on the south end, one on the north end, and then we're trying to, you know, meet a deadline in those cases, and it puts a lot of strain. So we thought if we had more than one, then we could level it out and let people focus, you know, on the job they're on.
And just to clarify on what Tina and Karen just said, the county is gonna award this contract on a basis of their own best interest. That means we have the ability, doesn't mean we're doing it this way or that way. What is in our best interest, if it's to be 2 companies, 3 companies, to divide it by, we have the freedom to do it. And if somebody comes in and, hey, blows us the way that they can do everything and they have the staff, it could go that way too. We give ourselves the option to award it the best way. So we're telling you, this is possibly the way it's gonna go, but we have the option legally based on the solicitation to award it in the county's best interest.
Additionally, it seems like the summer tends to pick up a little bit more. We got the heat, and then the heat's probably cooking some of that garbage, and the smell is probably making it to the neighbors. Then the neighbors are alerting the adult protective services. So it's like a process, so.
We're gonna pull up he's gonna pull up the bid tabulation to show you kind of how to do the pricing. Also, just make sure when you are submitting your bids, you have your W-9. Have that ready for me, because it's so much easier than me trying to hunt you down for it afterwards. If you submit it with your bid submissions, it's a lot easier, because then I can start processing everything and have everything together. Your insurance documents too, if you have your insurance, your licenses, all of that is better to submit right at the time of bid, because it makes it go a little quicker. So at least I can speed up the process a little bit more by having it all together when you submit it all at that time frame. Because if you don't, then I'm going to you saying, hey, can I get this? And you're like, it's gonna be a couple days, or you're on vacation and I don't have it. It just makes it, I wish a lot of people would do that. Just have it, you're better off submitting everything than not submitting enough, is all the way I always think about it. Submit it all and then you're good.
Wink, wink, this includes your direct deposit for payments. Include that.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, people forget it, and then they're like, hey, well, the snail mail is bringing your check, sorry. What can we say?
Chore. Well, we wanna look at it, you wanna look at the lines,
The bid tabulation, yeah.
the bid tabulation, it's okay.
It's kind of weird, I know you're looking at a different screen, but we see your mouse going over the PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't
I'm
pulled
gonna
it
go
up
and
yet.
share the right screen.
Weird.
Let's see, I'm gonna stop sharing here, then I'm gonna share the screen here, let's see. Is this it? Yep. Can you see that?
Yep.
Bid table.
Table.
It's. There we go. So basically, there's gonna be, you've got estimated hours. Can you see that?
It's not up yet.
It's not up yet.
No,
It's on a delay.
it's still saying open file on ours.
Really?
Click your link up there to the right where it popped it. Downloads.
But he's got it on his computer.
Oh,
He's showing it there. It's not showing you. Oh, maybe try sharing again with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try sharing it again. There it is. See, there you go.
All right, here we are. So here is how you will price your, price out your stuff. And the way Karen had mentioned, making sure that you add your mops and stuff in, you're gonna add it into your actual services probably, right, Karen?
mhm.
So they'll add it in there. Now we have it as units of measure, units of measure is hours, not.
So for chore and enhanced chore, we pay by the hours. And then for lawn maintenance and biohazardous cleanup, it's by the job.
Okay. So that's how you're gonna do that. So by the job on the last two. So you, for lawn maintenance, for the mowing, you'd be like, all right, I can do it for the lawn maintenance. If it's just a matter of mowing a path to the doorway, I could do that for $100. You just go in, you mow a path to the doorway, you clean up the sides, you make sure they can get in from the street into their door, and that's pretty much all. You're not doing the whole lawn. You're just making sure there's a pathway for that. So that would be by the job. And then your chore services is for the hours. So if it's $25 an hour or $50 an hour, you would put. How would you do that?
They put
So
in
they would-
50 and then.
50, and then it calculates it
It,
based on the 3,000 hours.
Bonfire will calculate it. You would just be putting a unit price.
Mhm.
Chore services, you'd put an hourly price. Enhanced chore, an hourly price.
Price.
Bonfire will pay that
Yeah.
for that. Job, you would put per job, your price. Remember to take into account everything that Karen said that's included.
Yep.
It's all
Just
included.
make sure you
Yeah.
have all that included into those prices.
Yeah.
Cause once those prices are set, you submit that and it closes, that's the price. You can't come back and say, oh, oops, I meant to add an extra $50 to that. You can't. And it can cause a debarment if you don't provide the services at what you have said. They have done that before. I've heard other people get debarred because they screwed up their bid and then they're like, oh, you either do it for that price or it goes into debarment. You don't want that. So just be very careful when you're doing your pricing. And make sure everything is there. You do have a time, as long as it's not closed and you hit submit and you forget something or you need to change something, you have that time to go in and change it. Pull it and change it. But once it closes, it's done. You can't touch it. So just to have that reminder, just make sure you're aware of that right before, and please do not wait till the last day to hit submit. Bonfire tends to be a little haywire sometimes. You don't want to wait that last day and that last hour to hit that submit button, because when you do, that can be a problem if it doesn't go through. You can't call me and say, I'm trying to submit it, can I email it to you? No. You gotta get it in to Bonfire. I can't do anything about it. Do not email me anything. Please, just do it in Bonfire. Everything has to go through Bonfire. I think like you had emailed me in Bonfire saying, I think I missed the meeting. Was that you? So I was like, no, you didn't. So everything gets recorded in Bonfire, which is good. doesn't get recorded that well. I have to put it from my email, then I gotta plug it into the folder and have it there for public. Because if somebody comes back and says something, they wanna pull it, I have to have all that information, so it's easier just submitting everything in Bonfire. And do not wait till last day. It's one thing I cringe when I see people hit and submit that last day, and I'm like, you guys are lucky, you're playing, you guys are really lucky doing this. So, because if you run into a problem or you can't get something downloaded, you can easily reach out to the Bonfire team, say, if something's, I can't, for some reason, I can't get logged in, I can't do this. It takes them, I think, 15 minutes to get back to you on that Bonfire system. So if you're doing it right before cutoff and 2 o'clock's cutoff, and at 2:30 you're trying to do something, or at 1:30 you're trying to do something, and that's not going through, unfortunately, I can't do anything about it at that point. So,
Tina, if I could just add a quick caveat. Hillsborough County operates under something called a cone of silence. That doesn't mean you can't talk. That just means that you have one point of contact during this time when there's an open solicitation. Tina is the cone. She's your point of contact, and she will get the answer for you, whether it's reaching out to the department, legal, whatever it may be. This being a pre-bid meeting, it gives you the opportunity to talk directly to the department while the cone of silence is in. Today is the opportunity. So if you have a question for aging services, I encourage you to ask it now. If you go and you have questions on Bonfire, it's all through Tina. Tina's the cone. She'll get you the answer. Get to her early and often, so you're not trying to put your bid in with 12 minutes left. And oh my goodness, I gotta get it submitted. Do it early. That's my caveat. Tina's the cone. Take advantage of talking to Karen and Mark that are here, and we'll answer your questions.
Thank you, Izzy. I just got to reiterate what he says, because if you all have questions about operational duties, scheduling, just a realistic picture, we're the ones to ask right now. Come the cone of silence and you call or email us, we will send you and direct you straight to Tina. And she might say, well, I don't know that one, or give you not as a more detailed answer that we could probably provide you right now. Thank you so much, Izzy.
You're
When
welcome.
does the bid close?
bid closes August 12th.
Okay, I just thought they might want to hear it.
Yes.
Yeah.
August 12th at 2 p.m. It does, inside the terms and conditions, it says the 10th, I think, by mistake. It says the 10th on the terms and conditions. It is not. It is the 12th. It's the Monday. I had it on the Friday, but when everything got moved, I forgot to move it in that document, but I put it right in the Bonfire documents. So it is the 12th. It's Monday, 2 p.m. So you even have the weekend, but you have the weekend to submit it. But people in Bonfire don't work on the weekends. So you gotta remember, on that weekend, if you go to hit submit and it doesn't work, I would immediately get a hold of Bonfire and like first thing Monday morning,
I'm
be
sure.
like, I can't, something wrong, I can't get it in. And hope that they can get to you before it closes. So I probably would prefer you to do it Friday.
As you see
So
here
yes.
on Bonfire, deadline for submissions. August 12th at 2 p.m.
Yep.
Not 2:01.
Yep.
It will not accept it at 2:01.
Yeah, it cuts it off. Bonfire will cut it right off at 2 o'clock. You will not be able to get into Bonfire. So just FYI, even if you're in the middle of it and it hits 2 o'clock, it will not let you submit. So. All questions, oh, you killed me here. Can you pull that back up?
Sure.
All questions are due by next week. Let's see, all questions are to be submitted, where am I? July 18th by August 1st by 5 PM. So if you have any other questions, when you leave here and go, crap, I forgot to ask that question, you can submit the question in Bonfire. I will have a sheet of questions. I then will send it to the department and say, okay, here are my questions. They'll go over the questions, they'll answer the questions, they'll put their answers in, then I will do a public notice. Always look in the public notices where it says messages, there's a spot where it says public notices. Always look in there. Because that is going to give you whatever information I get, I put it in public notices. So if somebody asks a question, I don't just answer you, I will answer to everybody. Because it's easier that way, but all the questions will be all compiled at one time.
Public notices.
Question.
Sure.
Does the price of service just for bidding it to be cut low, I'm guessing the grass, or does it include removal of trash?
For which one?
For the lawn.
Lawn services?
Mhm.
Lawn services would be limited to just the ingress egress, so no removal of trash. So that would be included in enhanced chore,
Okay.
if that needs to happen.
Another question.
Okay.
What about when they have fines for the county for overgrown grass and
We do need to get them where they're not out of county or city ordinance. So if it means cutting the front right there, we'll allow you to do that.
Oh.
Whatever it's gonna mean to get them back in code.
So there might be that time where you're gonna have to cut the whole front lawn.
Right.
So. There, it might be just a strip or it might be. Any other questions? Do you have questions for them?
see? Another make sure I don't miss anything. I'm good on the questions for like the house and everything. The lawn is like out, like I have no idea. I'm just not sure I'm not missing anything though.
Any other questions? Do you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alrighty, well, that does conclude the meeting. If you do have questions, you know how to reach out to me on Bonfire, just send me an email. And I will be happy to answer the question or relay the question. Just remember, do not wait till the last minute to submit. That's what I'm gonna drill that into everybody's head tonight. Not wait till the last minute to submit. One thing I'm gonna beg people not to do, because then you guys get me Angela. I don't want it.
Was this like just an annual contract? How's it, just like a multiple years? Okay.
Two
This is 2 year,
2 year
2 year.
And this is what I like to call an ism. The document that is in there, contract terms and conditions, answers that question, gives you the terms, gives you what's expected by the scope. I like to say a bid, an invitation to bid is like, you remember the old commercial Prego? It's in there. If you have a question, you just gotta look, it's in there. It'll tell you, this is a 2-year contract or a 3-year contract. This is what's expected for each one of these tasks.
Payment.
Can't find it? Tina's your company.
There's a bunch of information in there, and thanks again, Izzy. Great. Like you said, you need to scan it, and then those questions, put them in the Bonfire, relay them over to us so we can kind of give you some clarification, maybe.
Yes, I have another question. It says the responsibility statement is for how long and how many years?
What was that?
The responsibility.
Survey.
The responsibilities, oh, you have it in yours, don't you?
Yes, I need it.
That's right, you do. You have to submit the responsibility survey, it's for the whole term of the contract. So when you have that responsibility survey in there, you gotta fill that out, you have to submit that with your bid.
But I think he's asking like how far back
Oh, how far
for
back?
the references that he's gonna put in there.
The references would be you.
Yes, so
So
a year is fine.
That'll work.
I think
She's the one
the
that's
terminology is, the references should be commensurate with what you're bidding on. you're getting on Hillsborough County, that you've done this type of chore services in the scope or volume commensurate or somewhat commensurate to what you're bidding on. I think that's what you were trying to get
Yes.
an answer.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
First one I've had that.
It's a good question.
Any other questions? Any more questions? No? Okay, good. Scared? Did it scare you guys? Scared me when I saw those pictures. I was like, wow, she really wasn't joking when she said that on screen and said.
No, I'm joking.
Well, if that's it, that concludes the meeting. We can not stop recording.
Okay,
And
any
we
questions,
are-
ask it now. I'm
Yep,
gonna
any
stop
more
it.
questions? No more questions? Are we good? All right, we're good. We'll stop recording. Hold it, peace.
Right.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Coming, everybody.
I'm gonna walk you guys out.